This is a beautiful day. Gotta love it. Yeah, what? Huh? What do you mean my alarm's going off? Oh, yeah, no, I got this summit I have to do in a little while. Oh, boy. I guess we're starting already. Yeah, I was running a little late. You can see it's gorgeous out here. How can I not want to enjoy this beautiful beach? Well, let me go put on a shirt. I'll be right back and we'll start, okay? Thanks. Hi, it's me, Adam Sietz. I am back now. I am wearing a shirt and pants. I'm not so sure. But either or, I want you to know that I am here to speak of my unscripted success and share the thoughts of improvisational thinking with all of you. I want you to trust that you already have power within you. I want you to embrace the differences that make you, you. And I want you to find you're funny. I'm Adam Lee Sietz, and I've been pretty fortunate. I've become a performer in my late life. I was a producer and a production guy and a salesman, really. That's what a producer is. It's a glorified salesman. And I had a lot of fun doing it to the point where I actually won an Emmy Award at 21 years old. I eventually flipped to the other side, and I started performing, and I was nominated for an Emmy as a performer also. I ended up having lots of fun doing that. I ended up doing a lot of stand-up comedy. And then from stand-up, I got really strongly into improvisational comedy, which really changed my life. From there, I started doing voiceover and cartoons and video games, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. I ended up on Broadway. Who in the world would have thought that? I never took an acting class in my life, but I did Broadway. I've been in movies that have been nominated for Academy Awards and television shows that have won Emmy Awards and have been nominated for many Emmy Awards. And when it comes to writing, I never thought I'd ever write anything, let alone become a best-selling author. And now I'm kind of speaking wherever I can. I'm trying to share the gospel of getting out of your head and dealing with improvisational thinking, or thinking like an improviser is really what I want to say. So that's kind of what's happening. And let me show you who I am. Hi, I'm Adam. Yeah, so I wanted to talk to you about a couple things. First of all, the most important thing for me is to say yes. And to say yes to things that you would probably not say yes to. Sometimes we'd like to have said yes, but we didn't. And we could look back on those times and probably not. In fact, if you take a moment right now, if you want, you could pause this and take a second to think about one moment in your life that you had an opportunity or an option to do something and you said no. And nothing ended up happening with it, and it just didn't happen. And later on, you might have thought about it, wow, I wonder if I did that. Or you saw what happened and you realized that you should have done it, and you kind of have a little bit of FOMO, you know. But for me, improv changed my life. And yes is really what is a big form, or let's say the tenet of improvisation is yes and. Putting the and with it helps to build. Yes and more. Yes and more. No, shuts it all down. Now, when it comes to yes, I'm going to tell you a brief story. It's kind of what changed my entire life and perspective on who I would be and where I was going to go. First off, my father was a performer for many years. He was a Borscht Belt comic. He and his partner Barry, they were Barry Schwartz and Seymour Sietz, the Stewart brothers. And they made it to the Ed Sullivan Show. They were pretty successful, and they did a lot of great things and fun shows and all over the place. But it kind of changed when Barry got married and Dad got married, and little by little, they kind of had to start making more of a living. So Barry became a PR guy, and in the toy business, became a monster in that. My father became a production guy, and in his world, he kind of went to become a producer and television guy, and kind of put the performance away. So what's interesting is my mother was also doing shows. And later on, this is now 40 years after they stopped doing their act and they're now successful businessmen, they brought the act back to be the entertainment for my mom's events. And so one time, Barry was not able to make it. It was a winter day, it was cold, and he just couldn't make it. So Dad said, hey, today, you'll do it with me. You'll do the act. No, I was definitely not going to do it. First of all, I was very big. I was a lot heavier than I am today. And number two, I've never really been on a stage before, let alone to start performing in front of over 600 people. No, not going to happen. He said, you sure? Really? Yeah, I mean, I'd love you to do. No. So it was done. No way. Not going to do it. He gave up. My mother and sisters, however, did not give up, and they consistently bang me with, do it, come on, do it for Dad. Dad would really love you to do it. And I just didn't want to, so I got to shut it down. Then everyone else started hawking me to do it with my father. The guy with the broom, hey kid, come on, do the thing with your father. He'd love you to do. Come on, what do you think? So finally, I said okay. And just before we go on, You might have had this experience. For me, it was a roller coaster experience. When you're just about to get on and you're being tough for all your friends, and hey, I got to do this, and we're getting closer. I start getting scared. And, guys, I'm not feeling too well. I think I ate something wrong, or I'm going to bail. That's kind of what was happening to me. I said, Dad, I'm getting all clammy and sweaty. I was really nervous. I didn't know what to do. But he said, don't worry about it, kiddo. I love you. It's okay. I'll do it. I got this covered. Go relax. Now, what am I going to do? I have to do it. I can't say no to my dad. So we get ready. And they introduce him, and then he calls me up. And as he's calling me up and I'm walking up, I am physically shaking. Like to the point where I feel the audience could see me. So I exaggerate a little more shaking. And I got to laugh. It was cool. It's the first one. So we keep going, and I was getting closer to the point, and I look around, my gosh, there's over so many people. I'm getting freaky. Oh my God, it's my turn. Blah, blah, blah. I do my silliness, and I got another laugh. And it was kind of like, at that moment, everything changed. And as we go on, I'm feeling more comfortable, and Dad's doing his thing. And it's a very silly, wacky bit. It's a Spike Jones song. I don't know if you know who that is, but he used to make really wacky music and instruments made of like a kitchen sink and a toilet tuba that's made out of a toilet bowl. Weird, wacky stuff. But at the end, it softens and gets a real sweet little kind of ending. And Dad goes to end it, and I grabbed the mic and I closed it out because he was right. I did know this act. And there was nothing that I didn't get. So I felt confident enough at that point to take it. And his face, which I'll show you, was just amazing. He was so happy that his son was a Stewart brother. And at the same point, it was such an awesome experience because I got to perform with my dad for the first time. Now, why do I talk about this as the story of yes? Well, because if I did not say yes to him on that day, it never would have happened because he died less than a month later. Yeah, kind of sucks, but it's part of life. And what happened is that moment changed everything. Because while I was up there, I felt something happen where I knew that this is kind of where I think I'm supposed to be. And who knows, I'm not a very religious person, but I am spiritual. And was it God or the universe or whatever you prefer, kind of was telling him, hey, Seymour, you got to get this kid on the stage because you're not going to be here much longer. And this is kind of what his purpose is supposed to be. So again, if I did not say yes to him, who knows what I'd be doing today? I might still be hawking people on the telephone as a producer or a salesman and not having joy that I have today. It really does make a difference. So just know that a yes can truly change your life. Especially when you say no, you're cutting things off. You can always say yes and then check it out, see if it's happening. If it's not something that works for you, you could politely decline and exit. But if you say yes, you're giving yourself that chance for opportunity. Okay, that's number one. And so now here, I wanted to talk to you about something that also is very important to me, and I think to you and anyone else. And it's about asking for what you want. How many people actually do? They think about it, they want it, they desire it, they feel they should have it or could have it, but they don't ever ask for it, or they don't actually put in the actionable effort to do it. But I can tell you, if you ask for things, you'd be so shocked at how you can actually get exactly what you want. Seriously, you'd be absolutely blown away on the things that I've asked for that I've gotten. I'll give you a quick story. First time I had an opportunity to do a video game. It was not the first time. I had done a few, but this one was a real cool one. And I had gone in for a character, and the character's name was Kelgar Iron Fist. And Kelgar was a guy who sounded like this. It was a lot of fun. I had that. But as I walked in, I saw another script. And this script was for the King of Shadows. And the King of Shadows, it's a death incarnate. It was like a real evil kind of character, and I really wanted to do this. So I asked the assistant, I said, hey, do you think I could give a run on the King of Shadows also? And she said, nah, I don't think it's a good idea. We're really backed up today, so I wouldn't ask. It's like, okay. So I walk in, and it's my turn, and as I walk in, it's not just a casting director, it's a whole bunch of people, it's the whole producers. I guess it was a callback, or it was the final thing. So I do my Kelgar, and I thought to myself, why not? Judy, would it be okay if I gave you a run on the King of Shadows? And her face immediately was, you could tell, I shouldn't have asked it. But she looked to her left, and everyone there said, yeah, bring it, let's have it. So I gave them this evil voice, and it was so much fun. And I did so good, and I got great reaction. That was great. That was that. So that was the end of it. I walk out, I go home, and a little while later, I end up booking at Kelgar Iron Fist. But what's cool is while I was there and I was recording it, they ended up saying, hey, you know what? Give us a run on the King of Shadows also. And it turned out I ended up doing the King of Shadows also. I ended up doing a couple of other characters, and it was amazing. It was such a cool thing. Fast forward a little while later. It's around maybe 2 years from then. And I walk into an audition, and a guy says, hey, congratulations, another actor. And I say, oh, well, you've met my baby before. It's been 6 months. No. You won the Navigator Award. I'm like, the Navigator Award? What's that? He said, well, it's the National Association of Video Game Testers and Reviewers. It's like an industry. It's a big award. It's like, I did? Wow. What did I win for? Whatever. So I called the company. I find out that I did win. I won against big names like Patrick Stewart as Professor X and Christopher Lee as Count Dooku and all these fun things, and I won. So I called up the casting director that I had asked. I said, hey, Judy, do you remember the video game we did? I just won an award. She said, that's amazing. Well, oh, Adam, what are you doing this weekend? I said, well, I'm not sure. Well, what do you need? Like, well, I have a reading, and I could really use you. I've been thinking about you it's the Lord and Taylor guy, and you're perfect for it. You think you'd do that? I said, yeah, no problem. So she sent me the script, and I got the script, and I'm looking through the script, and I'm like, okay, Lord and Taylor guy. Lord and Taylor. Oh, Lord and Taylor! It says it from off screen. I'm not even on stage. Lord and Taylor. That's it. One line, not even one line, a few words, and they're not even on stage. But, ooh, this character's cool. In the same scene was the telephone repairman. And it just so happens this is a guy that was played in the original Broadway and in the movie by a guy that my father grew up named Herbie Edelman was his name. So it was really cool. And I saw that. I was like, oh, my God, I have to try. So I called Judy. And I said, hey, listen, I just got the script. Oh, everything's cool. But I was wondering, is there any way I could read for the telephone repairman, the Harry Pepper guy instead? He said, well, no, I already have someone to do. Oh, what time is it? I said, well, it's around 11 o'clock. So, ooh. He was supposed to get back to me at 10 o'clock. So you know what? Yeah. Yes, you can. But first you got to meet the director. So I have to go and meet the director. It turns out I end up getting a parking ticket right before I'm in a real pissy mood. I go there. I'm waiting. The guy is not there. It's like 700 degrees in the hallway. I'm dripping. I go, where the heck is this guy? He turns the corner and goes, this guy's right here. And he comes and goes, oh, my God, I see. You are dripping. Come. He lets me go in the office. He gives me something to drink, some cold water. We schmooze for a bit. I never touched the script. He says, I can tell you're funny. Come back tomorrow. We'll do it. I come back the next day. I walk in the room. There's all these amazing people. Like Tony Roberts was a guy that I remembered. I did an impression of Tony Roberts. I got to do it to him. Jill Clayburgh, Amanda Peet, Patrick Wilson. I didn't know who he was, but he's become pretty big. But at that point, it was really cool. I was like, this is going to be fun. So we did this whole reading, and it's all done. He said, you know what, take a break. We'll do some lunch, and we're going to do one more run through. So we go out and have lunch. We come back. I sit there. There's nobody in that room. But we hear a commotion. So we move down, and there's a whole bunch of people in another room, and that's where we're doing it. So we sit down. We do the whole thing, and Neil Simon walks in the room. I'm blown away. I've been an idol. This is truly someone I've idolized my whole life. Then Isaac Mizrahi walks in. Who knew he was going to be the costumer? But it turns out I had so much fun. I had the script in front of me. It was a blast. Everything's finished. I decided at the end, you know what? Let me just shut up and go. Just say thank you and leave. Don't overtalk. Don't overdo it. And I did. And it just so happens the timing of leaving, Neil was leaving also. So I got to help him out. I helped him down the steps. We talked for a minute. What an amazing experience. On Monday, I call. I say, that was the most, I had so much fun. Thank you so much for including me. And if you ever have another reading, let me know. I'm in. She goes, oh, well, yeah. Has Roy called you? I'm like, who's Roy? She says, oh, you know what? Hold on. Judy wants to talk to you. I said nothing. Shh. So I said, okay, hello, Judy. Yeah. Hi, how you doing? Yeah, that was so much fun. Yo, Adam, has Roy called you yet? Who's Roy? Oh, well, he's the producer. They're going to make you an offer. I'm like, what do you mean? Like an offer to do the show. I'm like, the show? What show? The one we just did the reading for, silly, Barefoot in the Park. I'm like, I thought it was just a reading. He goes, no, it was a reading for people to back it to get it on show. Oh, wow. Where are we doing it? It's on Broadway. What? Broadway? I've never been in a play before. Oh, that's it. What? What do you mean you've never been in a play before? I've never been a player. I was a stand-up comic that turned into doing some commercials that got on TV, blah, blah, blah. And here I am. So, okay, well, don't tell anyone. So I didn't tell anyone. And it turns out I ended up doing a show. I ended up on Broadway. It was called Barefoot in the Park. It's a lot of fun. And what happened is somebody who saw that show invited me to audition for another show. And I did that show on Broadway. And then another guy who saw the original show, who was doing a show of his own at the same time, had me do his show. I did 3 shows on Broadway in a row. I had never taken an acting class in my life. And why did this all happen? Because I asked if I could read for a different character. And then when I won the award, I called to tell her how amazing it was. And then I asked her if I could read for a different character. Now, if I didn't ask, again, number one, I would never have been the Lord and Taylor guy, because that turned out being roughly a 65-year-old Caribbean man with a wonderful voice named Sullivan Walker. So I would never have gotten it. So it worked out that, again, by taking that risk and taking the moment to ask for exactly what I wanted, I got everything I wanted. And at this point, I can tell you, my bucket list is really kind of empty. I mean, life is very different than it was just a little while back. I mean, when it comes to asking for what you want, ask away. Whether you're a salesperson, whether you want a first date, whatever it is, you're selling something. Everyone's selling something in some way. Whether it's your idea, your product, your service, your opinion. If you want someone to buy into it, it's really helpful to be able to, number one, to incorporate some funny. That's always very helpful, to incorporate the humor. But in general, to ask for what you want. And sometimes even just ask for help. If a client says, no, I don't see that, it's like, well, okay, well, can you fill me in on what it is about this that doesn't turn you on, so I can maybe learn a little bit for my next pitch? Or again, when I'm doing a project and I really have the need for something, is there any way you could help me? And if you ask someone to help, you'd be amazed at how often they're more than happy to help. Because what happens is it makes them feel good. When I help someone, I feel great. That's kind of what I'm doing here right now. I mean, I've been really blessed. I've been fortunate to the point where $1 is not what drives me now. What I want to do is I want to focus specifically on getting people to understand that they're okay just the way they are. Literally, you're perfect just the way you are. You don't need anything else but who you are. Now, if you want to be better, be better. You don't have to do it all today. Just little increments, one thing at a time. And each little kind of win is awesome. I mean, I've lost a whole bunch of weight. And for me, a win is driving by the ice cream stop and not storing. Rewind, yeah, driving by the ice cream shop and not stopping. Yeah, that's a win for me. Very simple. When I have pizza in front of me and I have one slice of pizza and not a half a pie, that's a win for me. When I'm having a great day, it's a win for me. When I get up and I make the bed and the bed is done, it's a win. Little tiny wins help to create the big wins and to make you feel better about who you are, because that's really kind of all we want. We all want to be happy. So you see, what's happened is when I did this, I asked a lot of people, a lot of things. I sold a lot of things. I mean, these are just a couple people. Yeah, those are a few people that I've done some business with. And I've done a lot more, but that doesn't matter today, because now it's you and others that I want to get my point across, that humor is real important. And that thought of improvisational thinking, which I talked about in the beginning, is really what changed my life. Because when you think like an improviser, you cannot be too caught up in everything else. You can't be overthinking. You must be focused on what's happening right now, right in front of you, and tap into it. Because then the offers and opportunities are right there. These are things that you've missed before because you're too busy in your head. I can only talk for me. I missed out on so many things, so many opportunities. I was stuck in my head for, I'd say, at least a decade of my almost 6 decades on this planet. I've wasted in fantasy thinking. It really does make a big difference when you get focused. So today, my goals are, number one, I want to motivate and inspire you to take action. I want you to be able to find and infuse humor in your business life and your everyday life. I'd like to help you to embrace improvisational thinking, which will help you to increase your mental agility, your quick wit and fast thinking. And I want you to lose that self-doubt, build up and gain that self-confidence. Because again, I'm telling you, the way you are is who you are. You cannot be someone else. Even as an actor, I could be different people. I could do different voices and stuff, but I'm still me. I'm always going to be me. I can't be someone else. And once I finally got to that point where I accepted that I'm okay, I am okay, things got so much better. I lost weight. I got remarried. I have a baby. Life is great. And that could come for you. So again, say yes, and you'll find your own unscripted success. It awaits you. It's right here, at the fingertips. So when it comes to improvisation, there are really 5 main rules. And there are more, but these are the main 5 for me. Number 1, yes and. No shuts everything down. Yes and builds on something. You could continue to build on something. Where no, again, as I said before, it just kind of closes everything off. Hey, you want to go to the party? No. Hey, let's go to the party and let's bring Susie. And Johnny. Yeah. We're building. Something is a yes and. Also, one thing that's real important is to listen. To listen to what the others are saying. And I heard someone say it once, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, use them in that kind of percentages. Because for me, especially, I can talk a lot. And when I do listen more, I find more, I see more. I'm able to uncover and unveil the silly. And staying present is the most important part, because if you're not present and you're not watching, listening, taking it in, something will trigger, and you go and you trust that inner you, that the knowledge you have. You have files and files and files of info in here that you have no idea is even in there until you have a need to tap into it, and then it pops up. It's amazing. And if you do this and you begin to trust it and you commit to it 100%, I mean, you can't be halfway in. It's not a half. You got to dive in and truly decide to stay focused on the here and the now, and not get too caught up in yesterday's and tomorrow's, because it's fantasy thinking. You got to be willing to risk and embrace failure, because it happens. We all fail here and there, and the truth is when you think about it, the mistakes, the failures, the things that have kind of made us who we are, have kind of helped us to learn what not to do and so on. But in improv or in this, so often those risks, I'm willing to fail, but I don't fail, because it works out in my favor quite often, because I ask for what I want and I say yes to most things. And you can too. Real world applications of this kind of stuff is sales, teamwork and collaboration, working together, bonding. All relationships, if you use that thought process of improvisational thinking, you really can't go wrong, because you're here, you're now, and you're not missing offers and opportunities that, again, are right in front of your face, that for so long I just wasn't paying attention and they were blowing right over my head. So it's real important. Humor as a connection tool. Now, what it is when you get somebody to smile, they actually have an interest in hearing what's coming next. Now, if you can get them to laugh, I've always found I could sit on their lap and close the deal. Because again, what you're doing is when you get that funny and you get someone to get a little titter in there and a twinkle of humor, you get their attention. Then if you can get that smile, now you got their real attention and they want to hear what's coming next. They're focused on what you're doing. You get them to laugh. Oh God, you're bonding. You got a thing going. You guys are in on something together. It's not just work and business anymore. You guys are becoming buddies and friends, and your communication is getting stronger and stronger, because again, you do not need to stay focused on the need to get the deal done. One thing I like to call it is, I take the scenic route. Instead of making a deal that has to happen right now and gun, got it. No, I find that if I can find something about the person I'm talking to before we actually talk, like whether it's somebody I know that can give me some background, I can Google, I can go on their website and see what they're about, and just see whatever I can. And if there's something in that information that relates to something that I've experienced, that is in my life, we now have a communion. We have something that we can commune on. And that's where I go left. I don't talk about what I'm here to talk about. I don't call up to pitch or to sell. I'm now talking about, hey, the Mets, huh? You got to like that one, so, or whatever it is. My team is hard, but whatever it is, your children do something similar. If you can find something where you two can bond over, and it's in your pocket, so it might come off. It's, again, improvisation is improvisation. When the good improvs happen, bank them. Put them in your pocket, because sometimes you can utilize them again when the time is right. Not that you're necessarily planning, but you say, oh, wow, look, pull your improv out. So communication, and what it all does is it brings happiness, because that's what we're all looking for, right? We all want to be happy. That's what I want. Now, fortunately, I really am very happy today. I do have my moments, but in general, I stay kind of in a happy place because, again, I don't really let the things that used to bug me and make me nuts bother me anymore. I don't let them I do have my moments. Believe me, I'm not an angel. But I don't linger. I don't obsess about things that have no power over. I have no power over anything. Man plans, God laughs. You've heard this before? Well, it's really true. So often you have something all set and then it goes right out the window. And now what? Well, if you can get these skills of that improvisational thinking, also a little humor to go, it really helps to guide you through life where all the other stuff is noise. And I'm a perfect example. I'm an ADHD poster boy. So I personally do not like that term. I've re-diagnosed myself with hyper-awareness. Yeah, I have a faster than normal brain. And to me, it's been a kind of superpower for me in certain ways. There are times it's gotten in the way also. Like, for example, the other day my wife asked me to go get her some water right at the end of the night. She was going to bed, and I said, yeah, I'll go to the kitchen and go. And I came back with a banana. Yeah, for me. This is her life. Yeah. So that's it. So humor is real important, and it helps to build that trust. It helps to build a connection. And it also helps likability, because that likability level is paramount. Because it helps you to stay connected. Not just that, when they like you, they'll buy from you. Or when they like you, they want to listen to you. When they like you, they'll go out on a date with you. Either or, I'm telling you, likability is the level of likability is so important, because when you lose it, especially as a performer, or for example, as a comedian, if I lose them, and I don't have it, it's hard to get them back. It's really hard to get an audience or anyone. If you lose someone in any communication from something you said that either offends or upsets or makes someone sad, it doesn't matter. Whatever comes out of your mouth is your accountability. So you got to be really careful of what comes out. But as an improviser and as a comedian, when I trust in what is just there and what happens and what comes to me, life works out so much better for me. It constantly does. And that humor, I have a little gift that I'm going to give at the end of this whole thing that will hopefully help you a little bit. It has to do with the tried and true little techniques and formulas and methods that I've always used and others have used to find that funny, to mine that funny, to be able to infuse it into your letters, your pitch letters, your conversations, your calls, whatever it is that you're doing. Because again, it is a powerful, powerful tool, the gift of humor. So that's something I would have to say I would really hope you do stay focused on. I'm different. I'm a little different than the average person, and so are you. You're different. So what? Who cares? What's your superpower? For me, as you can see, my brain is a little more colorful than the average brain. Not too bad. But again, I'm different, and it's okay to be different, because what makes me different makes me me. As you can also see, I was also very big. I mean real big. I was over 420 pounds. And I've lost 140, 150 pounds, 160, 120. It depends on the day, but in general, I've lost the weight, and I don't intend on getting to be very big again. But I'm not going to make myself crazy over a meal or over something that I eat or working out or doing this. I'm not on a diet. I eat what I want, but the factor is I've changed my whole aspect because it matters to me now. It does matter. I want to be alive. Guys in their 60s, that big at 400 pounds plus, they don't exist. They're just not here. It's like a unicorn. And I wanted to be around for my kids. I got 3 children. I want to be around. So it's real important to take that accountability and see that you can do it, because it's very helpful. Now, I do want to give some improv exercises. We'll do that in a little bit, but I wanted to talk about things that really have helped me to truly keep myself in order, keep everything going. I have a personal life coach that I myself called Larry. I like to say I stay packed up with Larry. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is when you're being packed, you are staying present and purposeful. The P. Then you take accountable action, or actionable accountability. A. C. You're consciously committed to whatever it is that you're looking to do, because without that commitment, it ain't happening. Then you're kind to the king or the queen. You can spell that with a K if you want, because the Q kind of, So you're going to evolve every single day. And you're going to do it daily. That's what I do. So as you can see, I'm present and I'm purposeful. I take accountable action, and accountability is all on me. I'm consciously committed to whatever it is that I'm looking to do. I try to be kind to myself, the king. Because again, when you want to beat yourself up all the time, you really don't feel good. I can tell you that. And I just stopped doing it. I love myself. It's really okay for you to love you too. Because that way you evolve every day. And if you do it daily, it becomes a total habit and a ritual, which is a beautiful thing. Now, as I said, I do this with my own personal life coach, which is Larry. So you know how it started? I was working with a young man who was an ADHD person, and he asked me, how is it that you have had such success and you've done so well with this disability? I said, well, I don't like the term disability, number one. But, one thing I do is I have lists. I do lists. I do a lot of lists. Because if I don't have lists, they don't get done. Like a to-do list. And then when I have the to-do list, underneath each item, I have a list of what to do to get that thing done. After that, I have alarms. I have alarms that go off all day long. I have so many alarms on my alarm list you could not imagine. And those alarms help me to know and remember what's going on. So I have reminders that I have the alarms. So, and those alarms go off with a reminder on each one. So this is an hour before, 2 hours before, 1 day before. Because again, if I'm not conscious of thinking, and I'm just living my life, these really help me to stay focused on what I need to do, and the other things will come to me when I need to know them. Repetition. We're going to repeat it. We're going to do it over and over again. When you repeat it over and over again, it becomes more than just a habit. It's a good thing. Things get done. We needed a why. What else would there be? But yes. So again, it's lists, alarms, reminders, repetition. And yes, using those 5 things together alone have truly changed my life and keep me extremely organized. And it's kind of become a pattern that really works well. And I have to tell you, a lot of people that I've shared this with, being packed up with Larry, have used it and have found a lot of value from it and have really been very happy. So again, yes is the last one. List, alarms, reminders, repetition, and saying yes. Yes is very important. Say yes. Okay? So I want you to know this, that it's very important for you to know that you are okay. Or when it's something you want to get done, do it now. Don't wait. Just do it now. Do it now, live it now. Because you know, and I know, at least for me, if I say I'll do it in a minute, it doesn't really get done as often, or it takes a while, or I end up getting a bunch of crap from not getting it done. But again, doing it now helps. Instead of in a minute or later, you'd be so surprised at how your spouse, number one, is a lot more happier with you, but also how, again, it's not something you have to think about that you got to do because you've done it. It's something you have to do. Get it done. Do it now. Stay out of your head. Don't deal with tomorrow's or yesterday's too much because, again, they're a waste of your time. You're in fantasy land. If it's a moment ago or a moment from now and you're caught up obsessing on that thought process, get out of there. It's fantasy land. So now I wanted you to see some of the things that are really helpful when it comes to the exercises of mental agility. And these are improv games and exercises, but they're not something that have to be done in performance in front of people. You can do them by yourself. It's always helpful to have someone else. But for example, here's one. One is called A through Z, or alphabet, or ABC. It's got a bunch of different names, but what it is, it's really just a scene or a conversation. You can have it with someone, or you can just talk to yourself in your head. But the quirk of this is each sentence starts with the next letter of the alphabet. So, for example, the first person would say, anacondas. These snakes are big. They're scary. The next person, B. But, I don't really like snakes. They kind of make me scared a little bit. C, come on. Are you afraid of snakes? What's the problem with that? You shouldn't be so afraid of snakes. D, don't even talk about snakes in front of me. I'm going to go crazy. Everybody knows he's afraid of snakes. Forget about it. Why is he so afraid of snakes? He can deal with it. Go on. Show him a snake. I want to see what happens. How can you do that? I don't know. Just because I can. You get it? That's the game of A through Z. And again, it doesn't have to be a rush. You could take your time with it. You could also play a version where you continue on each letter until you're exhausted. Absolutely awesome. Adam, are you coming? Yeah, always. How can I not? Another thing I must tell you, apples should be in the back of the car, not in the front. Awesome. Now we move on to B, and you continue. But Bartholomew is not coming. Baby, I love it. But can you come? Back up your car and I'll put it in the back. Again, B till C and so on. You keep going. It's a real good exercise on quick thinking. It's fun because, again, you don't know what's coming out of the next person's mouth. And if you just trust what's coming, let it come and you'll see something of value there. Another game is a game called Story. And what's fun about stories, it can be done again with a number of people or just one other. You can't really do it by yourself. The way it could be is when it comes to a bunch of people, somebody conducts it, which is my favorite way, where you basically point to someone and once upon a time, there was a tree that was in the forest, and it was, as soon as you move your hand, the other person has to stop talking. And nobody knows what's coming out of the next person's mind or what's in their mind. So it could be, we were going to, Well, you say maybe to stay up all night and watch a movie, or to at an island to go visit grandma, or to stay away from Adam because he ate an onion and his breath is horrible, to stomp on my little brother. Nobody knows what's in the other person's head, so it really can be pretty funny based on when you direct it. You can also do it with one word, where it's just once upon a time there was a tree named Bob. And again, this is just one-on-one, or it could be a bunch of people. And again, it's just one word at a time. And the faster, the better. Don't think. Just listen and go. That's one word story. Okay. Now again, you don't know what's going to go on because again, if you are conducting it, what's fun is when you do. Once upon a time, there was a. Well, I was going to say hockey player. Nope, it's a princess, and the princess's name is. It was going to be Penelope. Nope, it's Bob. Bob the princess. Nobody knows, and that's what's so much fun about that game is you're able to literally go. And again, if it's just you and another person, you could start telling the story. I was going to the party and I went. And the other person picks up from where you stop, and then they stop, and you pick up from where they go, and so on. That's one word story. It's a lot of fun. Not easy, but fun. Another one, which is one of the harder games, a game called Questions. Now, questions is just questions, exactly that. So the conversation can only have a question mark at the end of each sentence. So you can't actually, you can't say a statement. They're all questions. And for me, what helped is before I open my mouth to reply, because you're being asked a question, you have to respond with a question. Don't say anything. Think about what you want to say and then reframe it into the form of a question. So, for example, are you going to the party tonight? Wait, are you telling me you were invited to that party? What, Dave didn't invite you? Don't you know what happened between Dave and I? Are you and Dave still not talking? Would you talk to me if I did what I did to you? Oh, yeah. Was this about when you hit him in the head with the brick? You remember that? How could it not be? Again, everything I said was just a question. Nothing had a period at the end. It's not an easy game, but again, it's a mental agility, a mind game that gets you to move quicker and helps you to handle the unexpected. It builds your confidence, gives you creativity and collaboration. Because when you work together, that's the only way it works, especially with improv, because it's not a me thing, it's a we thing, which kind of really translates into business also, especially as leadership. You know, I've been very blessed as an entrepreneur. I've got a couple of businesses that I've started, and some have been really well, some have not done so well, but in general, I've been pretty successful with it. And most of it comes from this improvisational thinking and working together. Because to me, as a leader, I love to work within, not from above. Because I find that when you, as the leader or the CEO or the boss, treat people in a way where you elevate yourself, where of course you do hold the red pencil. Everyone knows you're the boss. Everyone knows it's your company. But wouldn't it be better if your employees and your team don't have this fear or this feeling when you walk into the room, or when you walk in, there's excitement like, oh, he's here or she's here, and we get to play with them, because it's so much more fun when your people are your people and you are theirs. You know, you're a team. It's truly a family kind of situation. And that collaboration, that team bonding is real helpful. Playing things like this where you're all working together. You could look foolish, and it's okay because others might look foolish. I've done work where the guy who's the custodian, the guy who literally scrapes the gum off the floor, was playing in the same game with the CEO of the company. And it was very clear to everyone, skill set in this particular exercise we were doing, the custodian was far superior, because the ego and that status was getting in the way from the CEO or the boss. They were too caught up in looking good, you know, and that's really not important. What's important is togetherness, and especially when you have a team, when you have a company, you have a business. It is literally a tribe of your own. And it works so much better when your tribe is in sync. And if there's someone that's not in sync with your tribe, somebody that's not into the culture or the feeling that everyone kind of has, and they're a bad egg, make them go away. And it's okay. You can do it with love and kindness, but if it doesn't work for you or your team, get rid of it. It's a virus. It's a disease. It's not good. It doesn't help to make things work. You want every part of your machine to work as best as you can, just like your body. It's very helpful if you're healthy and you eat the right things, you do things. So again, well, as I told you, I lost all this weight. You know what it was? It was a Fitbit. Yeah, well, Fitbit, or whatever you want to call it, Apple Watch, a fitness tracker. And for me, it really changed everything. I had surgery. And you think, that's going to help, 425 pounds, maybe surgery will help. And I did. I lost some weight, but that was not the answer. I lost like 40, 50 pounds, which was great. But when you're that big, yeah, I didn't see anything. So when I put this on and I started moving around, I started getting exercise. I started seeing the steps and the calories. And I figured out, oh my goodness, it took me 50-something years to figure out it's mathematics. It was that simple. Just you burn off more than you put in. And what happens is, while I'm doing it and I'm logging the foods, I get, again, that accountability, that consciousness. I'm able to see that a cheeseburger is a lot of calories, especially when you're having French fries and soda and all that. So I actually, again, as I said, I eat whatever I want. If I want a cheeseburger, I'm going to have one. I probably won't eat the whole thing, but I'll have one. But I won't make that choice that often because I know it's a big, it costs a lot. I like to look at my calories as dollars, and I don't want to spend too many. I kind of keep it around $1,500 a day, or calories a day. So, like for example, that cheesesteak I was just talking about, imagine eating a full cheesesteak, a slice of pizza, a half a 2-liter bottle of soda, and then have half to a full thing of Haagen-Dazs ice cream. That's around 4,000 calories. That's a whole pound in one meal plus. So just the knowledge of seeing it in front of my face, I couldn't be unconscious anymore. And again, having 3 children and wanting to be around this world, guys in their 60s don't exist when they're that big. So I'm really happy that I've been able to find all these different things that have gotten me to the point where my life is really where I want it to be. And I would hope that anyone else out there that would like to have that same kind of experience would take the time to check this stuff out, this improvisational thing. I have a book out there. You can check that out. I've got a website out there. I'll put that, in fact, here. This is it. There we go. This is me. I'm Adam Lee Sietz. That's an email you could get to me from. There's a phone number. That is my phone number directly to my pocket. So if I can't answer it, I won't answer it. Leave me a message and I will get back to you. My main website is adamsietz.com. You can get to that either way, whether you spell it right or wrong, because I now own that one too, S-E-I or I-E. But it is adamsietz.com. I have comediation.com, improvolutions.com, and bighugproductions.com. I don't want to talk about that stuff. You can go check it out if you want. But know that at the end, there is a gift that you will get, and I do hope you enjoy it. It is called The Funny is a Factor. And it's a way for you to understand different tricks and trade the things from the law of 3 and reversals and accents and different kinds of accents or characters or different things that you could use to reverse switch, all these different things that help to mine that funny, to find the funny that is already in you, to find the things that are able to give the other person you're dealing with a smile and make them happy, because that's what we're all looking for. We all want to be happy. I'm happy. You want to be happy. So I do hope I've been a little bit helpful for you. It's kind of been a rush. As I said, I had to get off the beach real quick. So, I'm happy to be here. Again, reach out to me anytime. All that information you just got, that gets to me. So if you have any questions, if you have any needs, as I said before, $1 is not what drives me. Helping others is what does turn me on. It makes me feel great when I can see something that someone got from something I said that gives them joy. That's why I became a comedian. Because when I could say something that, oh, it's amazing. It's the best feeling, the best high I've ever had in my life. And I've been around, so I'm telling you, the best feeling is to get people to acknowledge something that came from you. And it can happen with you too, because I guarantee you have knowledge, you have stuff. There's stuff in there, lots of stuff. Let it out. Don't bottle it up. Ask for what you want. Say yes a lot more often. And trust that you are okay. You're perfect exactly the way you are, or you'd be something else. Okay? So again, thank you so much. I am Adam Sietz, Adam Lee Sietz. It's Adam Lee. My mother actually named me with the Lee. She said, when you get older, you could drop the Sietz and you're like a performer, Adam Lee. And she passed away recently, so I brought the Lee back. That's why. So it's Adam Lee Sietz. But it's Adam Sietz if you want to get in touch with me. Big hugs. Have a wonderful day. Blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada, yada.